state capital have continued to commend the federal government for measures put in place over the years that has brought to an end the traditional fuel scarcity which Nigerians used to experience during the Yuletide. Adam Yusuf Ali reports.
There is reason to believe that the peculiar recurrence of fuel scarcity, especially during Yuletide, is stage-managed by unscrupulous elements to achieve selfish financial gain that is unfair to the sufferings of Nigerians. During that time, where the nation experienced fuel scarcity at December, motorists and citizens in need of fuel for their cars and generators are at the mercy of greedy black marketers who capitalize on the situation to hike prices to up to 300 naira per litre. Presently, in Damaturu, the Yobe State capital, and elsewhere across the state, the narrative has changed, as there is no sign of fuel scarcity that was characterized by long queues at various filling stations. Even though motorists complain over the increasing prices of the product per litre, which is around 162 naira, they appreciated availability of the product.
Before, previous years, before, I would not even attempt to come and to say that I wanted to buy fuel due to the queue. You will not even get it in the filling station unless you go to the market, black market, by the roadside.
To amma kasancewar yanzu an samu sauki al'amari shekarun baya da na yanzu ba ma kamace shi shekaran nan gaskiya abin mun gode wa Allah sosai amma yanzu alhamdulillah tunda gwamnatin APC ta shigo wannan matsaloli na zamanin Christmas sai ya zama history.
Other motorists are of the view that increasing prices of petrol is the root cause of increasing prices of goods and services, and suggested building refineries as a means to fight increasing fuel prices in Nigeria. In Damaturu, Adam Yusuf Ali, NTA News.
Similarly, this year's Yuletide in Port Harcourt and environs is devoid of the usual fuel queues that characterized festive seasons in the past. Notwithstanding the availability of the product, commercial transporters are, however, exploiting members of the public who embark on travel to their countryside to mark the 2020 festivities with a arbitrary fare hike. Kingsley Amajali tells us more.
Across filling stations visited, the product is available. Issues of panic buying and long queues are not in sight, with fuel sold between 163 naira and 165 naira per litre. Motorists expressed joy that there are no queues, but are however concerned that the price is still high.
It's fine that the government has tried, there is no queue, but as an oil producing nation, we want to buy fuel cheaper, not because there is no queue, the fuel should be high.
Everything is moving fine now because the other time you feel to buy fuel, there will be embarrassment and all such of that. But now everything is okay.
I feel good, but it's still expensive. I drive car every day, nothing come out. See, I just bought fuel before. I'm buying again.
There is also a relative increase in transportation fare, especially for those traveling outside the state.
It was 2,000, but now they say it's 2,500. Because of the Christmas, because everybody is traveling, so that's why they increase their transport, because they know that the majority want to go home.
That's where we are going. It's 2,500. We are sitting 3-3 per seat. Nothing. I don't know what to do. I just think maybe it's because of this Xmas period.
As the year comes to an end, concerned stakeholders want the government to intensify efforts at local refining of petroleum products in the country towards bringing down the price in the coming year. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
And on the pandemic, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has announced 712 new cases of COVID-19 in the country. The latest figures released bring the total number of confirmed cases to 82,747 infections in the country. A breakdown of the new cases from states indicates that Lagos recorded the highest number for the day with 388 new cases, while FCT has 77 new cases. Others are Kwara 39, Katsina 35, Bauchi 33, Plateau 22, Ogun 18, and Akwa Ibom recorded 16 new cases. Others are Delta 13, Kaduna and Osun have 12 cases, Yobe has 11, Sokoto 10, Kebbi 8, Enugu 6, Edo has 5, Ondo 3, Niger 2. The day's tally is completed by Kano and Oyo, recording 1 new case each. On confirmed cases by state, Lagos has the highest with 28,192 cases, while 70,495 cases have been successfully treated. 11,834 cases are active and discharged cases are 1,247. The European Union is launching a coordinated vaccine rollout to fight COVID-19 in what the bloc's top official says is a touching moment of unity. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said on Saturday that the Pfizer biotech vaccine had been delivered to all 27 member states. Some countries started administering the jabs on Saturday, saying that they were not prepared to wait another day. More than 40 million people have been infected, and strict lockdown measures are currently in place in nearly all the member states. And still on the pandemic, the Nigeria Medical Association FCT chapter has called on the general public to adhere to the coronavirus preventive guidelines and urge government to play their role in the battle against the virus, as not less than 20 doctors have been lost to COVID-19 in the last 1 week. Chairman of the association, Dr. Ienre Amudu, stressed this while briefing members of the press in Abuja. Hakima Taliu reports.
Is currently faced with the second wave of coronavirus, which is even more catastrophic. Acknowledging this, Dr. Ienre Amudu, Chairman Nigerian Medical Association FCT chapter, expresses disappointment that people still go about disregarding the protocols.
For those of us in the health sector, we've lost quite a number of colleagues in the last 1 week alone. I'm here to solidarize first with the families of our members that have lost loved ones.
While appealing to patients coming into the hospitals to always comply, not to put the health workers at risk. He also used the medium to request that government expedite action towards implementing the new hazard allowance away from the usual 5,000 naira.
We need this show of solidarity from the government because the virus is still very much with us.
The Nigerian Medical Association assured FCT residents that its members are bound to their oath and combat ready to save lives, either from COVID-19 or any medical emergencies. In Abuja, Hakimat Aliu, NTA News.
To harness the lessons of the coronavirus pandemic, it is very pertinent for countries of the world, including Nigeria, to make huge investments in preparedness capacities to prevent, detect, and investigate emergencies of all kinds. This is the position of the United Nations General Assembly as the global community marks the first ever International Day of Epidemic Preparedness on December 27, 2020. Ifoma Aihuje reports that the day seeks to advocate partnership to build strong emergency and epidemic preparedness systems as part of an overall approach to advance universal healthcare system.
In the words of the Director General of the World Health Organization, it is hard to believe that only a year ago, COVID-19 was still completely unknown to mankind, yet in the last 12 months has occupied the center stage with far-reaching consequences for societies and economies. So far, the COVID-19 has infected more than 6.6 million people, killing some 1.5 million the world over. This devastating record necessitated the adoption of a consensus resolution by the 193-member UN General Assembly, recognizing the need to raise the level of preparedness in order to have the earliest and most adequate response to any epidemic that may arise in the future.
Not necessarily wait until there is a COVID-19 or there is an Ebola to do the right thing.
While the pandemic caught the world off guard, stakeholders in Oyo, the Akwa Ibom state capital, say it has also served as a wake-up call for improving the standard of healthcare services.
The COVID-19 that is ravaging everywhere in the whole world now, they say there's a vaccine that they have discovered, but we don't even have the facilities. That this vaccine will only be relevant if we have storage facilities that will go as low as -80.
To actualize the aim of the recently proclaimed International Day of Epidemic Preparedness, the United Nations call for all government and society approach that will ensure a safer, more resilient and sustainable world. In Oyo, Ifoma Aihuchi, NTA News.
Meanwhile, one major feature of the Yuletide is the merriment associated with festivities and exchange of good tidings among relatives and loved ones. With the second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic in the country, the celebration is expected to be low-key if efforts aimed at checking the spread of the virus should be achieved. Maureen Leo Ajom reports that the Cross River State government is not relenting on its oars to curtail further spread, hence a lull in festivities.
This time of the year, there are usually a lot of festivities, but the fact remains that the fear of COVID-19 should be the beginning of a conscious lifestyle. As governments and health watchers call the Nigerians and every resident to take responsibility of their safety against the pandemic, most Calabar residents are adhering to the COVID-19 safety protocols, especially as the Cross River State government has cancelled this year's annual Calabar Carnival. To some others, caution had been thrown to the wind. With a rather dampened mood for the celebration of the season, the consciousness of the people has taken a new dimension, with the COVID-19 safety precautionary measures gaining attention. However, as festivities and celebrations increase during this Yuletide, the importance of adherence to COVID-19 protocol is key.
Nobody should be pushed to go back to safety rules. Everybody, having observed what had happened before, should be adhered to what is done, should key into the situation and know what to do at each point in time.
I don't take chances. I do as much as the COVID-19 task force are guiding us to do. So I'm taking my own precaution, and I believe other people too who value their lives should do same.
Cross River State COVID-19 response team is seeking immediate action from members of the public to prevent further spread of the virus, adding that nightclubs must remain closed till further notice.
Of course, we are in the festive period. The truth of the matter is Nigerians need to be more careful. People need to protect themselves. If you can avoid traveling at this point in time, that would be great for you to stay back where you are to protect yourself and protect your loved ones by that action.
And so, Calabar residents say it couldn't be different here. In Calabar, Maureen Leo Ajom,
NTA News.
And from Calabar, we go to Lagos, where Owl will bring us more stories. Owl, compliments of the season.
Compliments of the season to you and of course our viewers out there. Boxing Day, like Christmas, is characterized by lots of fun activities. Annie Daniels visited a family to know how they are making the best of the day amidst COVID-19.
This is the residence of the Banjos. I was welcomed by young and beautiful Victory Banjo, who after knowing my mission took me to meet other members of the family. We were presented a bottle of hand sanitizer and afterwards offered a seat. Then this.
Wow! Wow, good to see you. You're welcome.
The family of 5 sat for breakfast with drinks to wash down the sumptuous meal.
We are all at home celebrating it. Of course, you know why. It's due to COVID-19 restrictions.
If you're going to have access into the house, you have to properly sanitize with an alcohol-based sanitizer, which we have.
I mean, I'd have attended church gatherings because we usually have Christmas parties at church, but that one was on Zoom this time, so it was virtual.
Christmas to me right now is spending time with your family, thanking God for the important things in life that we're able to be together during this difficult time.
Baby of the house, little Joseph, was excited on having her crew over, but was clearly camera shy. And I must add that Victory is the smart Nigerian who came tops results in the last Cambridge IGCSE after scoring A1 in 9 subjects. Her academic excellence made the Yuletide extra special for the Banjos.
Because I had so many exams in succession, it really helped because from the previous exam I'd retain, and the knowledge I had from that exam would be useful for the next exam.
Meanwhile, the pandemic has not damaged the spirit of the season among members of this family. They look forward to 2021 with optimism and faith. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
And next is an update on the repairs on 3rd Mainland Bridge. The 72-hour closure of the 3rd Mainland Bridge in Lagos did not present the overwhelming gridlock envisaged. However, some residents are still finding it difficult to navigate the city as the bridge is an easy gateway for movement between the island and mainland. Michael Olale reports.
A visible display of apprehension on why the 3rd Mainland Bridge is still closed at a time when the Lagos Island outbound lane should have been opened for traffic, but with the assistance of traffic management officers who are on standby, motorists were redirected to the alternative routes. Navigating around these alternatives is clearly not a comfortable experience for some, who point out the financial burden in addition to the stress involved.
I will need to stretch myself down to Ido to connect back to 3rd Mainland Bridge, and it will cost me a lot of fuel. If I'm flying it from this way to Ienre now, you know the cost of the fuel. It should not be more than 5-10 minutes, but now I'll be spending like 30 minutes to connect to Ienre.
The total closure of the bridge this festive period was specifically decided to ease the pressure on commuters, and the drive around the metropolis was actually a pleasant experience due to the low volume of vehicles on roads.
From yesterday when they unlocked the 3rd Mainland Bridge, to come and to go back is very free. There's not much traffic like last week.
The saying that there is no gain without pain is the mindset most road users seem to have adopted.
I think the most important thing is that it's being repaired. If this is not repaired and the bridge collapse one day, we're all in trouble. If I take care now, it's probably going to take me a faster time to get to where I'm going compared to any other day. So I have no issue with it. Additional 10 minutes, I'm back to where I'm going.
This is the 3rd time the bridge will be totally closed to traffic, but this is the longest as the 72-hour closure terminates Monday night. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
140 youths in Lagos have been equipped with the relevant skills of transforming waste to wealth for empowerment. This training was championed by the United States Consulate. Diana Ajale reports.
With its population of about 22 million people, a mega city, influx of commercial, industrial and household activities, rapid generation of waste is massive in Lagos State. According to the Federal Ministry of Environment, there are 340 private sector participants managing waste in the state. But with this, government struggles to keep the city clean. As the struggle continues, the United States Consulate, through its Exchange Alumni Association, has empowered the first beneficiaries of a project targeted at creating wealth out of Lagos waste.
I never knew all these things I've been dumping around are actually money.
Keep our environment clean by cleaning our gutters and taking off the waste from those areas.
Some people are complaining that they don't have jobs, but with the waste that you generate to your house, you can also feed yourself.
The program is not only on job creation, but to raise awareness on climate change and how to mitigate its effects.
Upcycling, you're actually telling people that you want them to creatively reuse their waste materials into functional products of high environmental value.
We need to empower our youths, not just to seek employment, but for them to be self-employed and at the end of the day also be employers of labor.
The empowerment program with hashtag Reduce, Reuse and Recycle is expected to be taken around the local government areas of the state. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
This is NTA Nationwide. Time for a break. The news will be back shortly. Do stay.
Although social media as a channel of communication is inherently harmless, it becomes harmful and damaging when used without discretion and thoughtfulness. Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, reflect, and verify information before sharing it. Be a good social media user. Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source and use social media responsibly for a better Nigeria. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, in collaboration with the National Orientation Agency.
Do you know that 35% of every girl child and women are raped on a daily basis? Some are killed in the process, some take their lives in shame, others remain emotionally dead for life. It is sad. This culture is not ours, definitely not African. How did we allow bad culture to infiltrate and take over? Even if you lack fear for the law, what of fear of God? And you, why do you cover up rape acts when it happens? Remember, a problem shared is a problem half solved. Never cover any rape act because a rapist is a murderer. It could be you or your loved ones next. Women must be treated like the prize giant they are. Say no to rape.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you. In your living room, office, and everywhere, anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview channel 264, or live streaming via www.visiontv.co.uk. Application for iOS or Android. Intelsat 901/332.5 degrees east. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
A new edition of TV Guide is out with special focus on the game changer, His Excellency Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State. Broadcasting in a digital economy, Maxwell Logo gives an insight. This edition also features Nancy Naji of AIT, a name synonymous with business. Meet the NCDC boss, Dr. Chikwe Ihekweazu. TV Guide, your indispensable companion, also x-rays the relevance of social media in the modern society. Meet some TV professionals who have impacted their spaces and other inspiring stories in sports, entertainment, and lots more. Grab a copy at the vendor near you or NTA stations nationwide. TV Guide, your indispensable companion.
Glad to have you back. Livestock business is making a huge comeback in Akwa Ibom State, having suffered setback occasioned by the lockdown. Calvin Samuel reports that the Central Abattoir has been experiencing good patronage since the commencement of Yuletide, while managers of livestock are working hard to maintain standard for consumption.
The year 2020 has been a very difficult year for the survivor of most businesses due to the global lockdown occasioned by coronavirus pandemic. In Akwa Ibom State, for instance, the business of livestock was one of the mostly affected sectors, especially with the imposition of ban on livestock importation into the state by government as measures to curtail the further spread of the virus. A situation that caused great lack of livestock and hike in costs, which adversely affected consumers. However, with the ease of the lockdown, which led to gradual return to normalcy in the sector, dealers say business is good, even though price is a bit higher, especially when compared to this time last year, but lower when compared to the costs during the period of the lockdown.
So we have been able to control the price. Like now, people are calling me all over the state, oh, we are grateful that prices for goods and other animals are, they didn't think that they would be able to even buy meat for the Christmas.
Actually, the business passed through a lot of issues, but there's absolute peace in the market now. Everybody's trying to see how you can make some money from the season, because this is the peak of the business.
We are making modalities to see how we can turn the feces to biogas, so that we will use the gas for flaring of animals. You can see right now we are His Excellency and the Ministry of Agriculture, then jingles are all over the radio and television that people should not burn goods and other animals with tires.
All what you are selling is what is within this country, and to make it surprising to you, people even come to this country and buy this livestock and take them back to where we used to get the supply.
Consumers were seen happy as they can now purchase animals, slaughter and flare same in a clean environment with less stress using gas, while government is looking forward to generating biogas through the waste generated for the purpose of flaring. In Uyo, Kevin Samuel, NTA.
And away from Uyo, the federal government has urged leaders in the country to refrain from stoking the embers of hatred and disunity, warning that resorting to scorched earth rhetoric at this time could trigger unintended consequences. In a statement issued by the Information and Culture Minister, Lai Mohammed, he said religious leaders have a responsibility to speak truth to power. Such truth must not come wrapped in anger, hatred, disunity, and religious disharmony. Lai Mohammed noted that calling for a violent overthrow of democratically elected government, no matter how disguised such a call is, and casting a particular religion as violent is not what any religious leader should engage in, and certainly not at a season of peace. He added that instigating regime change outside the ballot box is not only unconstitutional but also an open call to anarchy, saying while some religious leaders, being human, may not be able to disguise their national leadership preference, they should refrain from stigmatizing the leader they have never supported. Anyway, using well-worn and disproved allegations of nepotism, the minister maintained that whatever challenges Nigeria may be going through at this time can only be tackled when all leaders and indeed all Nigerians come together, not when some people arrogantly engage in name-calling and finger-pointing. President Muhammadu Buhari heartily congratulates Chidozie Mbanefo, Chairman, New Crystal Communications Group, on the conferment of traditional chieftaincy title of Omekanyi Unewi by the Igwe of Unewi, Dr. Kenneth Orizo. In a statement by his Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, the President described Chief Mbanefo as an advertising guru whose creative energy, ideas, innovations and accomplishments in the field speak volume of his mastery and experience. He recognizes the support of the advertising platform in advancing his presidential campaign in 2015 and is equally delighted that Chief Mbanefo's love for community development and giving back to the society has been appreciated by the Unewi community. While wishing the Omeka Unewi a memorable celebration, President Buhari is certain that the honor will inspire him to continue his good works for humanity. Christian community in Maiduguri hold interdenominational service. This and more from our Maiduguri Network Center, where Mohammed is standing by. Hello, Mohammed.
Thank you, Ienre. Compliments of the season and welcome to Maiduguri. Christians have been charged to fervently engage in prayers for an end to the lingering security challenge bedeviling the Northeast region. This was the central message by various clergymen during a Christmas unity service held at Ienre Wulari, Jerusalem in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. Jadwa John Jassini reports.
The 2020 Christmas Season Unity Service, organized by the Christian Association of Nigeria, Maiduguri Metropolitan, has as its theme, "Unto us a child is born." It is also an interdenominational service where Christians from various churches come together to praise, worship, and thank God for witnessing the end of the year amongst the living despite challenges experienced. Delivering his message from the book of Luke, chapter 1, verse 26 to 38, Reverend Father Emmanuel Ienre Apagu said, "The birth of Jesus, which is a gift to mankind, is a good news that should be spread in love and touching the lives of one another in any way possible."
It is a thing of joy that a Savior has been born to us, and we are people of joy, gratitude, and thanksgiving, because the birth of Christ has brought peace and renewal to humanity.
We are all gathered, irrespective of our denominations, in unity to worship again and to show the world that Christians are one.
Leadership of CAN also enjoined Christians to emulate the generosity of God and support CAN in its quest to acquire land for the Christian cemetery. Special prayers were also offered for leaders, the sick, those in captivity, and an end to the insecurity bedeviling the region and the nation at large.
In Maiduguri, Jadwa John Jassini, NTA News.
Following request for provision of more agro rangers in Borno State by Governor Babagana Umar Zulum, Commandant General of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Abdullahi Gana Mohammed, has reiterated commitment to train more personnel and be deployed to the state in addition to the 250 already on ground. Yagun Subukar has details.
As part of his two-day working visit to Borno State, the Commandant General of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Abdullahi Gana Muhammad, paid an unscheduled visit to Gondamgari area of Ienre local government to monitor activities of his personnel, providing security to farmers on their farmlands. Impressed by their performance, Abdullahi Gana Muhammad says the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps will not relent in securing lives and property of the people. While appreciating all support given to the state command by the Borno State government, the Commandant General says the request made by Governor Babagana Umar Zulum will be granted without any hesitation.
I saw my men on ground, in the farms, inside the bush. Like I saw my in the fields with the farmers. Honestly, I'm proud to be the CG of Civil Defense. My boys have made me proud. My commandant here has made me proud. We will go back, we will train more of them, and we'll try our best to see that they are deployed to Borno State. We want the economy in the Northeast to pick up immediately.
According to him, the agro rangers will continue to provide security to farmers in the state in order to enhance food sufficiency. In Maiduguri, Yagun Subukar, NTA News.
It's time for another commercial break, after which Nationwide continues with Susan in Makurdi.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth Entrepreneurship Support Years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria, pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
Life can be very eventful. We curiously expect things to happen, even when we don't know what. Our human nature makes us like and repost lots of information. Some are unverified, inciting anger and hate. Sometimes innocently, other times the urge to break it first. This, in most cases, has caused destruction in many nations.
NTA News 24, a 24-hour news station brings to you news and happenings 7 days a week.
News at 10 a.m., news update at 11 and 1 p.m.
News desk at 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. and late evening news at 11 p.m.
Follow us on any of our platforms and keep abreast of events and current affairs within and outside our shores.
We are on DSTV channel 419, GoTV channel 46,
Star Times channel 101, and Free TV channel 703.
Join us.
Compliments of the holy season and welcome to Makurdi. The Benue State COVID-19 Action Committee has resolved to brace towards mitigating the adverse effects of the second phase of COVID-19. Commissioner for Information, Culture and Tourism, Guna Adingi, and the Commissioner for Health and Human Services, Dr. Joseph Ngbea, stated this at Government House, Makurdi. Charles Abba reports.
The second wave of COVID-19 has been confirmed by medical experts as being more contagious and deadlier than the first. This informed the proactive measures the Benue State Action Committee on the pandemic is adopting to control its devastating effects. Commissioner for Information, Culture and Tourism, Nguna Adingi, and the Commissioner for Health and Human Services, Dr. Joseph Ngbea, emphasized strict adherence to the COVID-19 protocol. They said religious leaders in the state have been urged to advise worshippers to maintain the prescribed measures to guard against the spread of the virus.
If you are all aware, in the last 5 days, we've lost 5 prominent Benue indigenes. And we had told the CAN chairman, and they had also agreed, that any church that does not observe those protocols may have to bear the brunt of the law. All beer parlors and restaurants are also shut down.
Those who are above 50, who are very old and are having upper respiratory tract infection should not trivialize it. You know, this is Harmattan season. People may have cough, fever. You should always try to seek medical intervention, and so that the medical expert will take care of that.
They also say that the state government has directed that religious programs should not be more than 1 hour and members should not be more than 50, and that those with large congregation should stagger their services. In Makurdi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
The Benue State Police Command has reassured residents of adequate security arrangements to forestall any breakdown of law and order during and after the Christmas and New Year's celebrations. The command warns that any act of criminality will be dealt with decisively in accordance with the laws of the land. Hussaini Muhammad Issa reports that the ban on the use of fireworks is still in force.
Police Public Relations Officer of the Command ASP Sewese Anene, who revealed that adequate personnel have been deployed to man strategic areas and flashpoints in Benue State, also disclosed that churches will be given security cover during the Christmas and New Year celebrations to prevent any breach of peace. ASP Ienre says the command has taken notice of the security alarm raised by the Department of State Security Service and has put in place proactive measures to abut any attack on worship centers during the celebrations.
The command mapped out strategies. We are going to be seeing policemen visibly on the roads, the major roads in Benue State. We have mapped out the entry and exit of every entry and exit of Benue State will be manned by police officers.
Also, Federal Road Safety Corps Benue State Sector Command has deployed 521 regular marshals and 122 special marshals to all the major highways and towns to ensure free flow of traffic during the Christmas and New Year celebrations.
Encourage people to take personal ownership of their safety. And then the drivers too have been sensitized. We expect people to maintain the road discipline that is required of them.
It is the general expectation of Benue people that with the security arrangement put in place, it will go a long way in abating possible outbreak of law and order during the celebration. From the police headquarters here in Makurdi, Hussein Mohamed Isa, NTA News.
It is a statement of fact that the prevention of any ugly incident is generally more preferable to managing it after it has occurred. This is similar when it comes to fire prevention and management. Elias Itiav in this report looks at the importance of precautionary measures against fire outbreaks in the wake of the Harmattan season.
Fire is seen as one of the most obedient messengers considering its usefulness to human existence, but remains one of the most destructive agents man has to contend with when out of control. Thus, the coming of the dry season, which is characterized with the Harmattan winds that dry up atmospheric molecules, increases the risk of fire outbreaks. As an uninvited guest that leaves much devastation, members of the public need to take precautionary measures to forestall fire incidences.
The meat you are drying on fire has fat, and fat in its nature is flammable. So if it's dropping on the fire that you are drying it, the meat, and fire might start from that place. And if you are not around, it will escalate.
Authorities also warn against acts that hinder the prompt response in cases of outbreaks.
Don't overload electrical socket for a second. Don't use electrical appliances that don't work. Don't run electrical appliance from a light socket.
Fire prevention, according to authorities, is better than fighting an incident of fire. However, in the event of an outbreak, prompt alert remains the best option for prompt response to minimize destruction. In Makurdi, Elias Itiaf, NTA News.
And that does it from Makurdi. It's back to Ienre in Abuja for more on NTA Nationwide.
Thank you, Susan. Following a careful review of the first phase of the end-of-year special patrol being embarked upon by personnel of the Federal Road Safety Corps, and increasing cases of speed-related crashes recorded within the period, the Court Marshal Boboyo Ienre has expressed deep concerns and directed commanding officers to step up enforcement of the law on use of speed-limiting devices. In a statement, the Court Marshal expressed satisfaction with the conduct of most drivers and the performance of the personnel in containing the rate of fatalities and road crashes within the period of Christmas celebration. Despite massive public enlightenment by the Corps on the menace of speed-induced crashes, the situation is yet unabated. To this end, the Court Marshal directed the officers to step up enforcement of the regulations on use of speed-limiting device in the second phase of the special operations and first quarter of next year to drastically force down the growing trends of speed-induced crashes. Consequently, those who default the speed limit order must not be spared. Now, the reopening of the semi-border is expected to revive dwindling trading activities between Nigeria and neighboring Benin Republic. It will also trigger economic activities to hasten the nation's exit from recession in 2021. Amaka Owo, who sought the views of economic experts, completes the report.
The semi-border community, where businesses have been at the lowest ebb since its closure, is expected to come alive with the announcement of the reopening of the border.
I thank God that they have opened the border, because when we are coming to Nigeria, it's not easy like that. We spend a lot of money.
As the economy continues to absorb the shocks from thwarted plans caused by lingering COVID-19, the reopening of the borders, experts say, remains an apt decision that will speed up economic recovery.
Import as well as export are going to be galvanized. And once that is done, the second thing that comes up as an impact is increased productivity.
Analysts estimate that over 200 billion naira was lost since the closure of the borders.
A lot of people who were idle doing nothing suddenly sprang into activity. So there is a significant amount of new job creation across the border communities once the border is open.
Considering Nigeria's fundamental role in the African Free Trade Continental Agreement, the impact trickles down beyond the country to the West African region.
Opening the borders is a way of walking the talk as far as our readiness to play within the EFCTA is concerned. And the EFCTA, of course, I'm talking about the African Free Trade Continental Free Trade Agreement. Nigeria is a major part. Nigeria is going to be a major player, especially the Nigerian private sector.
Experts also say that with lessons learned from the border closure in August 2019 and sanity restored should be sustained, especially against smuggling, among other irregularities, for maximum benefits of business transactions within the area. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Ilela border has remained closed despite announcement of its reopening by the federal government. Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila reports that the continuous closure of the border had become a source of concern to traders, especially those in the border town.
Ilela border is one of the borders that were recently reopened by the federal government. With the latest development, import and export of approved goods will begin in earnest after months of closure, a development that impeded businesses and social activities. The news of the reopening of the borders had elicited applause in the affected communities, with residents saying life will come back to normal. Many Nigerians had decried the closure of borders, saying the development had aggravated poverty, made the cost of basic needs high, and crippled the source of livelihood of many.
Gaskiya mun wahala sosai wallahi mun wahala yanzu duk wanda adda jari na naira miliyan guda wallahi yanzu ya da 100 saboda matsalar rufe border gidan kai.
However, despite the announcement of the reopening of the border remained closed as Nigeria Customs Service are yet to officially receive any circular.
Since it has been reopened, by God's grace, things will start moving gradually, and with time, everything will come back to normal.
Export or surplus in expedition or in trade is what calls for opening a border, and also it leads to growth and development of a country.
Government had at the onset said borders were closed to stop importation of contrabands, including arms and ammunition, boost agriculture, and protect local economy. In Sokoto, Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila, NTA News.
Ibadan Network Center is next, and Larry will feed us with the latest from that zone. Larry.
Thank you, Ienre. Compliments of the season and welcome. A speedboat laden with petrol in the Republic has been intercepted by operating Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Ogun State Command. Lukman, our defense report is here presented.
In line with its mandate on anti-vandalism and bunkering, the Marine Unit of NSCDC has for some time now been on the trail of base smugglers who use the waterways to ferry refined petroleum products across the border to neighboring Republic of Benin. Acting on a tip-off, the unit intercepted a speedboat loaded with 50 jerrycans of petrol at Akere waterfront, close to Tongaji Island in Iwokia local government area.
Immediately they sighted the crew on our own marine boat, that's the marine unit. The operator jumped into the water, but we were able to intercept their boat, and we impounded it.
Items recovered from the suspects include 50 jerrycans loaded with petrol, a speedboat, and some life jackets. Commandant Abodonri said 9 new illegal waterways used for smuggling activities were discovered during the lockdown and are now on surveillance. Expressing its readiness to defend the economic interests of the country, the command also warned all bunker saboteurs to desist from crime and embrace legitimate means of livelihood.
Obafemi Awolowo University is to demolish illegal structures erected on the land belonging to the institution as a result of encroachment. This follows a dispute which has brought both the institution and the host community at loggerheads. This report by Adejoke Eluyemi is presented from the studio.
The management of Obafemi Awolowo University, Ilefe, and her host community have been at loggerheads over this land, which part of it have been allegedly sold by some land grabbers. Sequel to these, the Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor Eyitope Ogunbodede, briefed newsmen about the university's stand on the issue.
Some people have not only encroached into the land, but have been brazenly selling it to individuals who have now started erecting some structures on it. It is obvious that drastic but legal measures must be taken to reverse the trend and prevent any future encroachment.
Meanwhile, Ife community in a similar briefing, the allegation of encroachment on the land belonging to Obafemi Awolowo University.
Recognize any land allocation or acquisition documents other than the survey plan number IFE 14 and 41 and the 1965 Gazette, where the land area given to the Western Nigeria government is 13,852 acres as against 11,861 hectares being claimed by the university management.
If a community therefore said the authority of the university would approach the court of law on the matter.
I now hand you over to Ienre in Abuja for continuation of Nationwide.
Larry, let's now have a bit of sports. At last, the 2020-2021 season of the Nigeria Professional Football League has kicked off nationwide. However, some of the week 1 matches could not hold, as Amanzi Marcus reports.